Hi everyone, what is up? Welcome back to my channel. If you're new, my name is Brianna and today we are doing my mid-year book wrap up. Now let me tell you, I'm sorry if you're anticipating like 30 books because I have it on my computer how many I've read so far, and that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Technically 9. There's 2 I didn't put in here because they were like books from the holidays that like trickled into January, like into the new year, but we're gonna get on our reading game this summer because I'll be traveling a lot in Europe and I'll need some books, and we're bringing this bad boy, which is my Kindle. With that being said, if you're new to the channel, welcome. Hi, my name is Brianna. We just do a lot of fun stuff around here, so stick around, subscribe if you'd like. We have a lot of fun. I'm also a little warm today, not because I needed to wear this long sleeve, but I just felt like reading gave cozy vibes, but it's also June, so we're doing with what we can. But I'm excited for today's video because I'm gonna do a deep dive into every single book that I read, and I'm also gonna give just a quick review of my Kindle. That's actually what sorry if I'm a little blurry, what I'm actually gonna start with, because I just got into my Kindle this year, so I want to talk about why I'm loving it and just things I'm enjoying about my Kindle. With that being said, we are gonna dive into this year's mid-year reading wrap up. This is also my first time ever doing a video like this, so if it's chaotic, I'm sorry, but it's gonna be a lot of fun, so stick around. I don't know what we're gonna get into and what we're gonna be chatting about, but I'm excited to do a mid-year book wrap up. Grab your tea, your coffee, your crisp Diet Coke, as I wish I was drinking. I've got a liquid IV, or the remains of my liquid IV here in my Starbucks tumbler, and let's just talk about the books that I've read so far this year, and we're gonna do a Kindle review. Alrighty, so let's first dive into my review of the Kindle. Now, I think that I have the Kindle, I'll link it down below. I think it is just your basic Kindle, whatever the cheapest version of it was. I got it last year in 2022, like at the end of the year during Amazon Prime Day. So we can start with that. Why I decided to buy this Kindle. Corey and I travel a ton internationally. I travel a lot internationally. We travel a lot domestically, and I just travel a ton for work. There's a lot of travel involved in my job. I'm a sales trainer for an educational travel company, and we're offered the opportunity every year to travel a very good amount. So with that being said, when I traveled last year and I brought my book with me, it was just such a bulky inconvenience that I wanted something that was a little bit more thin, sleek, but I also knew that I was gonna read through that book in the first few days, and then I would either have to carry it around the rest of the trip, which I ended up having to do, and then I wouldn't be able to read any other books unless I wanted to bring another book with me. That was my main reason for buying the Kindle. How am I liking the Kindle? Let's see, 3 of my 7 books were physical this year so far, and the other ones were on this Kindle. I love a physical book, do not get me wrong. I was the only person, as you can see behind me as I'm trying to create a library, I was the first person in the entire world to say, I'm never gonna get a Kindle. Kindles are silly, they're useless, why would you buy a Kindle? I love a physical book. I never wanna not feel, you know, the flipping of the page and this and that, and don't get me wrong, I love me a physical book. As you can still see, I'm buying physical books. However, I love reading at night too on my Kindle, and just being able to fit this in my Lululemon fanny pack or my bag, just like throwing it in at the nail salon, getting a pedicure, driving in the car. It is so convenient, and I am loving nothing more than my Kindle. The other thing is I did buy, Carter was talking about this, I can have her channel linked down below as well, a friend of mine from YouTube, but she got me onto the pop socket on your Kindle. So at first I was looking for a case for the Kindle, accessories for the Kindle, like what are the Kindle girlies using? But she was saying that you get a pop socket and then you can kind of hold your Kindle like this, you can hold it like this, do whatever you need with your Kindle, which I absolutely love. I think that is probably the most genius idea that anyone has come up with, because when I didn't have the pop socket, it kind of like hurts your, not down here, it just gets like annoying to like have to physically hold it, and sometimes your finger touches it and it moves the page and you don't mean to. So with that being said, I absolutely love and adore my pop socket for my Kindle, and I love the Kindle. The other thing is the battery life on this is really great. I don't need to charge my Kindle for normally 2 to 3 weeks when I'm reading pretty consecutively. The last time I charged this was probably, honestly, 2 weeks ago, and it's at 60% and I haven't even used it. But it's also been in here with the air conditioning on, so that's normally when it gets really cold, you know, you lose battery on things. That's just a little bit on like Kindle review, why I'm loving the Kindle, why I bought the Kindle. And I also have a ton of books on here that I've read this year that I'm pretty sure are on Kindle Unlimited, so we'll also do some like Kindle Unlimited stuff. Comment down below if you want to see a video on my best reads from Kindle Unlimited Unlimited. Kindle Unlimited is a monthly subscription service. I think it is either $9.99 or it's going up to $10.99, and it's when you can download a ton of books, like basically borrowing from a library on the Kindle. I love it because I'm a thriller girl and there are so many really good thrillers on there. You know, you can also, with your Kindle, buy books for, you know, $1, $3, $5 when they go on sale. But if you're trying to get a Kindle because you think it's gonna save you a ton of money, you're not gonna get brand new releases for $1, right? You're gonna still end up paying a decent amount. So that's just something to consider when you're getting the Kindle. But this thing, I love. I'm so excited to travel with it this summer because I think it's going to be perfect and it's going to keep me very, very occupied. But with that being said, let us get into my mid-year reading wrap-up of all the books that I have read so far in 2023, because that is going to be super fun for us to do today. You know, I'm feeling like I just want my, I don't know, I guess I didn't really have to pick up the camera. You know, you guys, I'm just still trying to figure out what I like about filming over here. I feel like I shouldn't even have moved the camera. It was like really cute where it was, and now I'm moving around. All right, either way, let's dive in. So, first and foremost, we are gonna get into the first book that I read this year, and that was The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I also have like all my notes, and I prepared you for this, you guys, because when I try to do like my favorite book of the month in my reset series, I am the worst, the woat of all time trying to remember what's going on in the book and just like all the things. So I got all my notes so that we can kind of chat about it. But like I said, the first book that I read this year was The Perfect Marriage by Geneva Rose. I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. It was absolutely incredible. I did read that on my Kindle. That is a Kindle Unlimited read. It was fantastic. So basically this book is a story about a married couple named Sarah and Adam Morgan. Sarah is a defense attorney in Washington, D.C., and she is like the best of the absolute best in defense attorneys. Adam is a struggling writer and author. That is her husband, and he hasn't had too much success in his career. I think he had like 1 or 2 successful like things happen to him early on in his career, but not much. And then they have a second home in the woods, but because Sarah is at work a ton, Adam begins having an affair with a woman named Kennedy Summers. And one morning, Adam is arrested for the murder of Kelly Summers because she was found brutally murdered in their like house in the woods in Sarah and Adam's like second home in the woods. Basically, Sarah soon is defending her own husband who is being accused of murdering his mistress. You guys, 5 out of 5 stars is an understatement for this book. It was suspenseful. There was so many twists and turns. My mouth was literally on the floor at the ending. I remember being like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. It was such an amazing read. I normally can figure out books and like figure out what's gonna happen at the end. It's always been something that I've been able to do, but this one I literally could not figure out, and the twist at the end had me like my brain blown. Like it was fabulous. So if you're in the mood for a really good thriller, I also really loved the writing style. I think that Geneva Rose, and I've never read anything else by her, I thought that her writing style was amazing. I thought it was easy to read. I thought it was enjoyable. There's nothing I despise more than reading a book that I have to reread the same sentence 4 times because the words just like aren't meshing in my brain. I want to enjoy reading, not struggle through it. So this book was amazing. Next, I am a little late to the train because this book was like a big read from last year and the year before, but I did read The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid, and I gave that another 5 out of 5 star. I at first wanted to rate this a little bit lower, like I was gonna give it 4 out of 5 stars. However, it is so different than anything that I normally read that once I like reflected on it and I kind of left the book sitting and I was thinking about it a lot, it was 100% a 5 out of 5 star read. So this book is about Evelyn Hugo, who was a Hollywood movie star in the 1950s, and she was all that anyone was ever talking about during their career. By the sounds of it, for our generation, it's giving like kind of how popular Kim Kardashian is. Like everyone just like knows who she is, was talking about her and like doing the full 9, and she's finally ready to tell her entire Hollywood story. So she ends up reaching out to a specific magazine because she wants this specific writer, whose name is Monique, to write her memoir, biography, autobiography on her entire life. And Monique is in a rut herself career-wise. Her career is pretty stagnant. Her husband just left her, and so she's feeling just a little bit not living her best life. She's just not in the best space mentally, and she wants to really jumpstart her career, so she's using this to jumpstart her career. The book is about Evelyn's entire story in Hollywood and her 7 husbands that she had along the way through her Hollywood career. And the end of this book is Monique begins to feel very connected to the legendary star, but as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that life intersects with Monique's own in tragic and irreversible ways. It was just so amazing. It was a beautiful story through what it's like to be in Hollywood, the struggles, the fighting of getting through Hollywood, the glamour, the beauty, the behind the scenes. It was just a really beautiful book of not really what I was expecting. And the way I like to describe this book, it was a beautiful story where thrillers are more of like a whodunit and you're trying to figure it out. This was just a beautiful story to actually read, and I love just all the glamour and the hardships that came with being in Hollywood, and I just thought that that was really beautiful. And I loved the little love stories and love that was kind of sprinkled throughout the book. I felt like it was really beautiful, so I gave that one 4 out of 5 stars originally, but I changed it to 5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read The Guilty Husband by Stephanie DeCarlos, and I gave that 4 out of 5 stars. I read this one on Kindle Unlimited. This was, the main tagline was, "It only takes one lie to destroy a marriage," and this book was really good. So it's about Vince Taylor, who is the CEO of a tech firm in New York City. He has a beautiful home and is married to his wife Nicole, who he fell in love with at first sight when they met years ago, and they just built this absolutely beautiful life together. However, when Layla, the New York tech company's new intern, who's beautiful and stunning and fabulous, turns up murdered, all eyes turn to Vince because he is the owner of this company, and also he holds a secret, and that is that he was having an affair with Layla, the new intern, and he wants to cover his tracks at literally all costs because he doesn't want anyone to think that he is actually the one associated with murdering his intern. So with that being said, he lies about the affair, but when the police find out, they are convinced that he is the killer, and they want to know what else he is lying about. So with that being said, this was a great thriller to get out of a reading slump. I will say though, for parts of this read, it was just really slow at times, and I feel like there was just random context, 4 pages at a clip on the Kindle that were just okay, next, okay, next, okay, next. So at times I did think that it was a little bit slow. However, I did think that it was a really good book. It kept me guessing until the end. So I gave that one about 4 out of 5 stars. Again, it really took me out of a reading slump. So I would say if you're trying to get into thrillers, I think that's a good introductory one, because you need to see if you like reading thrillers, right? There's other crazy thrillers out there that have got crazy twists. That's amazing, but you want to see if you like reading thrillers. I would say The Guilty Husband on Kindle Unlimited was a very good one. Next, we are getting into my best book so far of 2023. And I know I say that like I've read 100, but I know I've only read 9 or 7, but this book, holy cow, if you follow me on Instagram, you know it's literally all I've been talking about. But it is The Housemaid by Frida McFadden. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. So to give a little bit of context, but I'm gonna read the opening header that's on the book, and it says, "Welcome to the family," Nina Winchester says as I shake her elegant manicured hand. I smile politely, gazing around the marble hallway. Working here is my last chance to start fresh. I can pretend to be whoever I like, but I'll soon learn that the Winchester secrets are far more dangerous than my own. This book is what introduced me to Frida McFadden, and I think that she is giving Sherry Lapina, who is my current favorite author, I have literally all of Sherry Lapina's books, a run for her money. So this book is about Millie Calloway, who is a woman with a criminal past, and she gets a job as a housekeeper, the housemaid, in a rich family, which is the Winchesters. Nina and Adam Winchester. Nina's the wife, Adam is the husband. Nina's the wife, who is the one that hires Millie to come into their house. She's the one that wants this maid, not the husband. She's the one that wants her to be there. And Nina is pretty rude and demanding and does things on purpose to see Millie struggle. She'll make really big messes just to make her clean them up randomly. She shares really weird lies about her daughter. They think that she has some mental something going on because she's just really bizarre. And Andrew, the husband, seems a little bit more upset and disconnected from his wife as the story goes on and just every day within their life. And Millie can't help but imagine what her life would actually be like with the perfect husband. But before Millie realizes it, her attic bedroom door locks, only from the outside, and it is far too late. This book was my best book of 2023 so far. You need to read it. If there is anything I've ever said that came out of my mouth that you should believe, it is that you need to read The Housemaid. It was amazing. I have specifically saved the sequel, the second book, for when I travel because I know I'm just gonna fly through it and be enjoying reading it so much. But it was an incredible thriller with so many twists that it literally gave me whiplash. I swear to you, the twists in this book were amazing. It kept me on my toes. It was a fabulous read. And again, it is on Kindle Unlimited, and it was incredible writing. So with that being said, that was my first ever Frida McFadden book, and I became addicted to her writing. I love the way that she writes. She doesn't write ridiculous, you know, I just feel like her writing is just really beautiful, and it's not too hectic, not too crazy. I don't know, I just really loved her writing and I felt like it was perfect. So I ended up going back onto Kindle Unlimited and read another book by Frida McFadden. And oh, did I mention that I gave The Housemaid 5 out of 5 stars? By my description, I hope that you can tell that I gave it 5 out of 5. But my next book by Frida McFadden was The Inmate by Frida McFadden, and I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. Again, another incredible book. Frida McFadden, you are amazing. I loved this book. I don't know which one I liked more. Part of me kind of liked The Inmate more, but part of me also liked The Housemaid more because The Housemaid was my first ever Frida book. So I don't know. I really love them both. I'll read a little bit of the synopsis. There are 3 rules Brooke Sullivan must follow as a new nurse practitioner at a men's maximum security prison. Treat all prisoners with respect, never reveal any personal information, and never ever become too friendly with the inmates. But none of the staff at the prison know that Brooke's already broken the rules. Nobody knows about her intimate connection to Shane Nelson, one of the penitentiary's most notorious and dangerous inmates. They certainly don't know that Shane was Brooke's high school sweetheart, the star quarterback who is now spending the rest of his life in prison for a series of grisly murders. Oh, series of grisly murders. Grimsy, I'm like, there's not even an M in there. Or that Brooke's testimony was the one that put him here. Brooke is a single mother who is looking for a job when she eventually lands on a nurse in this maximum security prison for the inmates. And this story follows Brooke Sullivan in the present and in the past as like the reason why Shane is in the maximum security prison and why Brooke put him there. It goes from past to present, which I really love in this book. And the twists in this book were actually, I think, more twisty than from The Housemaid. They're very similar. Not that the twists are similar, but just like the maximumness of the twist was absolutely amazing. Another 5 out of 5 star read. Like I said, the twist at the end was incredible. This book got me to believe that I knew the ending about with 30% of the book left. I was like, I know where this is going. I know where it's going. And then I was texting Carter like, oh my God, it was this person. Can you believe it? Blah, blah, blah. And then at the end of the book, I was like, girl, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. I was like, how did I get it wrong? The ending of this book was absolutely amazing. I would say that this was the best twist of any book that I read this year. The Housemaid was just fantastic, but the twist at the end of this book was just amazing, and really maybe any book that I've ever read. Like, I thought it was amazing. It was just absolutely incredible. So again, The Inmate, by Frida McFadden, 5 out of 5 stars. Alrighty, now we are jumping into my 2 physical books. Well, Evelyn Hugo was a physical book, but a lot of the other ones were on my Kindle. The next book that we're getting into is The Wife Upstairs. I did a little bit of a synopsis of this book in one of my resets, but we are going to dive into it a little bit more today. So The Wife Upstairs was about Jane, and Jane is new to Birmingham, Alabama, and she's a dog walker for Thornfield Estates, which is like a gated community full of mansions and SUVs and like really rich, fancy, and no one notices if Jane will take their little tchotchkes from their entry tables or if Jane is even her real name. So she does kind of like, for little parts of the book, that's like a thing, is that she's like stealing from these rich people that are so rich that they don't even notice. And she then meets Eddie Rochester, who is newly widowed. His wife Bee and her best friend have died in a boating accident with their bodies drifting out at sea. And Jane sees an opportunity in Eddie because he is rich and he can offer her protection for whatever it is that she needs protection from. Yet Jane and Eddie, as they fall for each other, Jane is increasingly haunted by the legend of Bee, everything about Bee. She's constantly learning about Bee, thinking about Bee, and just wondering what had happened to her because she is this beauty with a rags to riches story, and she wonders if she can actually ever measure up to her because now she is with Eddie, and can she win Eddie's heart before her past or his catches up to her? It really was a wonderful ending. I will say it was a very slow, monotonous beginning, and the reason I say that is because the words are relatively small and the pages are, you know, pretty thick, I would say. So like, it just feels like it takes you a while to get into it. It took me about 75 to 80-ish pages to really fully dive into this book, but once I was into it, I really enjoyed it and loved it, and I was hooked. The ending was really great. Another twist. Again, I feel like all thrillers have a pretty good twist. This one was just, I mean, I thought it was really good, so I enjoyed it a lot. So yeah, The Wife Upstairs, I definitely recommend. Not my favorite book of all time, but the ending and the idea was really good. Once you can get through the first like 80 to 100 pages, then you're into it. But yeah, I think there was a lot of like random context in the beginning that I just didn't really find super relevant to the book itself, but good book nonetheless. And then my last book for my mid-year wrap-up is Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina, which is this one right here. Now let me tell you, I gave this 4 out of 5 stars. Part of me wants to rate it honestly a little bit lower. Let me tell you why. I'm still gonna go with 4 out of 5 stars because the book itself and the writing is great. The ending was just like meh, in my opinion. And let me tell you, I have read every single Sherry Lapina book that she has ever written. She is my favorite author. This one just like didn't hit for me, and this is probably controversial because this is some people's very favorite Sherry Lapina book, and it's just not mine. It just isn't. But basically, Not a Happy Family is about the Merritt family from upstate New York, and they're a rich family living in like a really fancy house in this really expensive part of New York City in these like estates, and they're just like, also I have like my notes and stuff on my computer, but they're just living in this like really fancy estate in New York. They have a ton of money, like a ton of money. And the Merrittons are brutally murdered after a fraught Easter dinner with their 3 adult kids. So they get into this like argument at Easter dinner, and the next morning or a few days later, kids wake up and figure out that their parents are dead. And they're all heartbroken about their parents' death, but actually, are they heartbroken about their parents' death? So they were never a happy family. Their father was vindictive and their mother was super neglectful, but maybe one sibling was more disturbed than anyone knew. Or did someone else appear in the middle of the night with their own intentions to kill them? I really did think it was a great thriller. I felt like the entire time I was just wondering who did it, and there was little pockets of things of like who did it and who you thought did it, but I think that in this book they didn't do a very good job of, like, they were just trying to pin it all on one person. But you know that in any thriller, that's not how it is. It's normally not that person, and it was just overly done with this one person, I felt like. So either way, I did think it was a great thriller and a fun kind of whodunit story with twists along the way, because you really can't quite put your finger on it because there is one person they're trying to pin it on, then they try to pin it on somebody else, then there's like little bits and pieces in between. Hold on, you guys, my camera battery is about to die. We love when the camera battery dies, when we're right in the middle of everything. But with that being said, like I said, I do think that Not a Happy Family by Sherry Lapina was a really good just like whodunit thriller. I did, however, I don't think that it was one of her best books, which is why I think I'm just a little bit more disappointed, because there's so many of her other books that I have absolutely read and loved so much that I've recommended. Now, what I will say, if you read is it the epilogue, which is like 2 or 3 pages long at the end, then I would tell you that it's an amazing book, because that really sets the tone for like, oh my God. But it just wasn't in the regular book. So again, the epilogue's only like 3 pages, and I think it just gives like a fun little twist at the end. However, still really a great book. Not my favorite Sherry Lapina book, unfortunately, but I did think that it was pretty good. So I will have links down below to all the books that I read this year and the things from Kindle Unlimited, but I love reading from this Kindle. I've really enjoyed it so far this year. I still love my physical books, and comment down below 1 or 2 of your favorite books that you've read so far this year. I have a lot of books over here that I'm excited to read that are on my TBR, which are going to be fun. However, I am taking my Kindle with me to Europe, so comment down below any and all Kindle Unlimited recommendations or books on the Kindle, because your girl needs to get some stuff downloaded for her Europe trip. But with that being said, I love you guys so much. Comment if you even like this video. I mean, I thought it was really fun. Not that no one does it, but it was different for me to just kind of sit down and chat about the books that I've read. So it was really fun for me, and I just love chatting and hanging out with you guys. Also, sorry if we've got some blurriness going on. I think it's trying to like focus on the books, but focus on me too. But I like the book backdrop, so thought it was like on brand. You know what I mean, you guys? All right. Anyway, with that being said, I love you guys so much. If you're new, I would love it if you would subscribe, give the video a big thumbs up. Let's grow our little community here on YouTube. But with that being said, again, for the 4th or 5th time, I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye, everyone.